Hello everyone, it's Olumayowa Victor Ogunshola from iDPS.com. iDPS means I diagnose and proffer solutions. Today we've got something very interesting to talk about, and that's why today we are looking at the topic functional areas within business organizations. As you can already tell from this topic, this is something interesting for everybody. So are you a business management student anywhere in the world? Are you an entrepreneur anywhere in the world? Or are you working in an organization anywhere in the world? This topic will be very useful for you. Also, you don't have to be a business management student, because irrespective of what you are studying, you will end up in an organization. And every organization has these departments as the functional areas within them. So today we are talking about functional areas within business organizations. When we talk about functional areas, we are going to be looking at the key functions of the customer service department, of the administration department, of the information technology department, of the marketing and sales department, of the human resource department, of the research and development R&D department, of the finance department, and of the operations department. So today we are looking at the main functions of all these departments within business organizations. Perhaps one thing that I must already stress is that no two businesses are the same. So from business organization A to business organization B, the functions of these departments might slightly be different. So if you come with us to the whiteboard, we have done justice in terms of the key functions of all these departments that you see here. So perhaps we should start right away with the human resource department, okay? So we are starting with the human resource department, which most people call the HR department. What are the key functions of the HR department? A key function of the HR department is what I'd like to call the 3-in-1 function of recruitment, retention, and dismissal. So it is the human resource department that brings new staff on board. How do they do that? They do that, of course, by advertising the vacant position, and then when the advertisement is done, there is a selection procedure and new staffs are recruited. On the other hand, or furthermore, there is also retention of old staff, okay, who stays within the organization, as well for staff who fail to comply with the organization's goals and objectives, or which shortfall of complying with the organization's goals and objectives, they may be dismissed. So, ladies and gentlemen, functions of the HR department, key functions of the HR department: recruitment, retention, and dismissal of staff. Another key function of the HR department, the human resource department, is that they are responsible for training, development, and promotion of staff. So when we talk about staff training, in order to allow such staff to perform better in their functions within the organization, the HR department is responsible for that, okay? To send staff on relevant training, okay? To look into the professional development of the employees, as well as to select employees that are due for promotion based on performance, of course. The HR department is responsible for that. Also, the HR department is responsible for staff working conditions. So what are the resources that we need at work? What does the atmosphere at work look like? Okay, what are the equipment that is needed at work? Working conditions is also the responsibility of the human resource department. When we also talk about the human resource department, they are responsible for the legal rights and responsibilities of both the employers and the employees. So if you want to know about your legal rights at work, if you want to know about your roles and responsibilities at work, please go to your HR, Human Resource Department, and they can enlighten you on your legal rights and your responsibilities at work, okay? So these are the functions of the HR department. Ladies and gentlemen, you can rewind any part of that video to listen to what I have just outlined there about the human resource department. Maybe the next department that we should talk about is, let's look at operations. Operations. Operations can be defined as all the activities within the business organization that helps the organization to produce the goods or render the services. So all activities within the organizations that leads to the production of the organization's goods and services are the operations. So if anybody tells you I work in the operations department, that is a supporting department that supports the other departments within the organization so that the goods and services can be produced, and the goods can be produced and the services from that organization can be rendered. Operations department. Okay, let's talk about another department. Let's talk about the research and development department. Where do we have that on the board? Research and development. Here we go. The research and development department is the department that develops new goods. Okay, they develop new goods and services, and they update the old goods and services. So research and development, R&D department, develops new goods and services and update old goods and services. The research and development is also responsible for technological development. As you already know, technology is always advancing. So in every organization, it is the responsibility of the R&D department to make sure that as technology advances, the organization also develops in terms of technology. The research and development department is also responsible for designing features. Okay, designing features, new features, or for updating old features. When we talk about feedback on product performance, the research and development department is also responsible for getting feedback from customers about the product performance. And when they get such feedback, it can be embedded into development of new products. And that's the R&D department, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the finance department next, okay? What is the function of the finance department? I have made it very simple here, ladies and gentlemen. Revenues, expenditures, and wages and salaries. The finance department is responsible for every money coming into the organization. Every money being made from sales, every money being made from investment, revenues. The finance department is responsible for this. Furthermore, the finance department is also responsible for expenditures. What we spend on salaries, what we spend on utilities, what we spend on maintenance. The finance department is responsible for this. That's the function of the finance department. And lastly, the finance department is responsible for paying wages and salaries of the employees. So, finance department responsible for revenues, responsible for expenditures, and responsible for wages and salaries of the staff. Thank you very much. We talked about operations already. We said operations are all the activities within the business organization that helps the business organization to produce the goods or render services. So let's go to customer services. What's the function of the customer service department? There you go, customer service. It is the responsibility of the customer service department to provide information to customers. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not quality information, the customers are not interested in patronizing your organization. So, customer service is responsible for providing, I don't say information, but I say quality information to the customers, okay? Customer service department is also responsible for giving advice to the customers. Sometimes customers are confused. Do I go for product A or do I go for product B? But the customer service department is there to give relevant advice to the customers. Furthermore, the customer service department provides after-sales service to the customers. Fair enough, customers bought from you and they say goodbye. But an effective customer service department says it doesn't end there. They provide after sales service to customers, okay? Lastly, for the customer service department, they listen to customer complaints. And that's some kind of feedback as well. So they get this feedback from the customers and they make sure that they listen to this feedback, analyze the feedback, and draw the positives and draw the areas for improvement in further production. So customer service department. What's interesting that we should be already thinking about now, when the customer service department get these complaints, are they the ones that have to improve on production? No. They send such complaints to the production department, and that tells you that there's a relationship between the different functions of the organization. Talking about production, I noticed that if you look at this very well, ladies and gentlemen, there is no production department. That tells you already that what we have here is not the entire functionality of businesses, but these are some of the key functions in businesses. So like I said earlier on in the video, it will vary from one business to the other. Some businesses do not produce anything, so they don't need to have a production department, okay? But some businesses actually produce or manufacture, and therefore there is a production department. Let's go on to administration. Look at that, administration. I intentionally put this in the middle because I say that administration is the heartbeat of any organization. The administrative department is responsible for managing the resources of the organization. The resources of the organization is being managed by the administrative department. The resources of the organization is being maintained by the administrative department. The administrative department is also responsible for record keeping. So without the admin department, without the administrative department, the resources of the organizations will be poorly managed. The resources of the organizations will be poorly maintained. Records will not be kept effectively. So if you look at that, those are the functions of the admin department. If you look on there, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is administration and IT support. So what I have here are the functions of the IT department within most businesses, okay? The very first function of the IT department, which is common these days, is the electronic communication via your emails, okay? Electronic communication via the emails, function of IT within our businesses. Also, it's a responsibility for data sharing. One department can share data with the next department through the function of the IT, okay? Also, security of systems. The IT department is responsible for securing all the systems within the organization. What I see here as well, external communication. The IT department is responsible on how we communicate with external stakeholders, and that's through the use of the internet. Okay, but when we talk about internal communications, the IT department is responsible for that, or ensures that that happens through what is known as the intranet. It's different from the internet. Thank you very much. Again, the IT department is responsible for online support for customers. If you go on most websites and then you can complain via the website, you can give feedback via the website, or you can actually see FAQs, frequently asked questions on the website, okay? And lastly, the IT department, information technology department, is responsible for electronic transactions, and that's e-commerce. So with an effective IT department, most business organizations can take part in e-commerce, where customers can buy and pay online. Okay, what do we have next then? We've got marketing and sales. That's a very interesting one. Over here, I've got marketing. I decided to make it marketing instead of marketing and sales. The marketing department is major function. Firstly, is market research. And by market research, we mean that the marketing department, it's the duty of the marketing department to identify the customers and their needs. So they identify the customer and the customer's needs. They anticipate on the needs of the customers, and it's the duty of the marketing department to satisfy the customer needs. Okay? So marketing department helps to identify, anticipate, and satisfy the needs of the customers. Of course, it is the duty of the marketing department to let the world know what the organization has to offer. The marketing department lets the world know what product the organization has to offer, excuse me, please, or what services the organization has to offer, and that's promotion, okay? Through TV advertisements, billboard advertisements, word of mouth advertisements, okay, or advertisement banners all over the internet. The marketing department lets the world knows about the goods and services of the organization. When we talk about sales, when the products are ready, it is also the responsibility of the marketing department after promotion to sell. But in some organizations, like I already explained, functional areas will vary from one organization to the other. In some organizations, you would find out that you have a marketing department and then you have another department known as the sales department. But in some organizations, it could be a two-in-one department called marketing and sales. Okay? Also, the uniqueness of the product, the price of the product, where the product can be available at its place, promotional techniques of the product, the marketing mix of the 4 P's is determined by the marketing department. Already, you can already see that there is definitely going to be a relationship between the marketing department and, say, production department, or say between the marketing department and, say, finance department, or say between the customer service department when they get their customer complaints, or when they get information from customers, they can feed that back to the marketing department. So you can already see that there's relationship between different functional areas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that I have talked about all the functional areas. We have said, as a recap for this video, we have said the finance department is responsible for revenues, money coming in, expenditures, money being spent, and wages and salaries, finance department. We have said that the customer service department is there to provide information for the customers, is there to listen to customer complaints, is there to provide after-sales service, and is there to give advice to customers. We have said that the marketing department is there to identify, anticipate, and satisfy customer requirements. We have said that the admin department is there to manage the resources for the organization, maintain the resources for the organization, and help with record keeping within the organization. We have said the IT department is there for e-commerce, is there for email communications, is there for internet and intranet services for the organization. The HR department, we have said, is responsible for staffing, that is recruitment, for retention of old staff, and for dismissal of staff who do not comply with organization goals and objectives. Also, other responsibilities of the HR department is training of staff so that staff can develop, or promotion for staff who meet the organization's goals and objectives and deserve such promotion. Also, do you want to know about your legal rights at work or your roles and responsibilities at work? That is the function of the human resource department. We then talked about the operations department, where we say all activities are responsible for producing goods or rendering services within the organization falls within the operations department. One important thing when we talk about health and safety at work, that is the function of the human resource department, health and safety at work. And that's the video on the functional areas within business organizations. But it is important that we note, like I said earlier, No two businesses are the same. So functional areas will vary in terms of size and scale of business. It will vary. Organization A has their type of customers. Organization B has their type of customers. The customers of a university will be students. The customer of an hotel in the countryside could be tourists. Okay, so different organizations, different customers, different customer needs. Also, it's important to end this lecture by saying that all functions within a business organization must work together to achieve the organization's goals and objectives. Okay, all functions within a business organization must work together. That is the HR department, the marketing department, customer service department, finance department, R&D department, production department, operations department must all work together. They must all be singing from the same hymn book if they want to achieve the goals and objectives of the organization. My last sentence about this lecture is there must be effective communication and cooperation between the entire functional areas. So all these functional areas must communicate effectively and they must cooperate with one another in order to achieve the organization's goals and objectives. Thank you very much. So have you enjoyed this particular lecture on the functional areas within business organizations? Please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And is there any areas for improvement? Please let us know by sending us an email at info@idpsconsults.com. Again, the email is info@idpsconsults.com. If you send us an email, we are so happy to improve in our services to you. Remember, we are trying to educate you and we are trying to educate everyone. We are trying to educate the world. Please share this video on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp so that we can educate the world together. Also, if you have any kind of feedback for us, you can visit our website www.idpsconsults.com and you can send us an email, and we are so happy to receive feedback on how we can improve in our services to you. Thank you very much. You know that I will not go until I talk about my passion, and my passion is that Africa must develop. So are you an African anywhere in the world? I encourage you to please keep doing everything you can so that Africa must develop. Keep doing everything you can to promote the unity and the development of the African continent. Again, I say Africa must develop. So this is where it comes to an end today, and therefore in English language I like to say thank you. In Dutch language I like to say dankjewel. In Yoruba language from Nigeria, West Africa, I like to say ẹ ṣé o. Bye.